Hello.
Hi,
Hello,
everybody.
Peter. Hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Peter.
Hi, everybody.
Beautiful people.
Hi, Yuri.
Hi, Yuri.
Hi, Peter. Hi,
Hi,
Diana.
Yuri.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Diane.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi,
Hi,
Beth.
Good
afternoon.
Hey, Judy.
Hi, Jill.
How is everybody?
Hi,
Happy,
Diana.
happy.
Brett, Judy,
Hi. Hi, Diana.
Catherine.
Who's
Hello.
that?
Hi, Erica.
Nuno.
Hey.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Erica.
So
Christina.
I'm not sure I'll be able to
Billy.
stay the whole call, so I'm just gonna say hi to everybody just right now. So if I have to, if
Hi,
I,
Nuno.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you for
oh,
joining.
you're welcome.
We have 22. And we,
Annie Bartel is here.
Hi, Judy.
Hello.
Hi, Judy.
Hi, Diane.
there's Brian and Julie.
Hi, Ro.
But Annie's video is turned off.
Hey, Noreen.
And Annie, why can't we see Annie?
Video shut off.
She hasn't turned her video
Oh,
on.
there
There
she
she
is.
is.
Hi, Annie.
Yay, hi
There
Anne.
she is. Hi, Annie.
Okay. So with one exception, we have Donna D doing sign language with us. We can hear everybody.
Another skill.
Another skill.
That's funny.
And I see Ed is in the process of joining.
Two more coming in.
There's
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nance.
Hi,
Hi,
Nancy.
Nancy.
There's Shirley's iPad.
Oh,
Hi, Shirley.
Hey, Ed.
Hi,
Hi,
Diane.
Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Bev.
Hey,
And
Lee.
Hi,
Hey,
Ed.
Bev.
Hey,
Hi.
Nuno.
Hi, Peter.
Eileen, how are you?
Hi,
Billy.
Ed.
Christina. Judy.
Hello.
Kat. Julie and Fred.
Christina,
that looks
Yuri.
good.
okay.
Alfred.
Sorry, I'm fiddling with it.
No, it looks great. That's perfect.
All right.
Debbie's coming in. Number 25 is here.
Yay.
No,
Debbie. Oh,
Actually, it's 20.
Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Debbie.
Jan, could you turn yours up a little bit? You're kind of quiet,
who?
Peter.
yes.
Thank you.
Noreen.
Yeah.
Jan is not going to be here. She's out of town. And Paula is not going to be on the call today.
Okay, thank you.
okay, thank
They
you.
say hello.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
I guess we have 26, and I know
Yes.
Pose is not coming either. So
Okay. So
shall
are we
close the-
missing anyone that you know about?
Harry told me that he was going to plan on being on the call. So, I haven't heard different. So he might be coming a little bit later.
Okay.
But that's the only other person.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and start.
Sure. Yeah,
In two calls, we're one day away from the winter solstice for the decade. Now, does anybody think that we're gonna do the same thing for the next 10 years?
No.
I hope not.
Right. And
Far
what
from it.
the most logical day of 10 years to start changes? Winter solstice of this year. That's the strongest day of the next 10 years. And what is more important than mastery?
Return to quantum.
That is required, return to quantum for mastery, because that's the almost ultimate. But what is the ultimate?
No bias.
That's when you know you're ready.
Oneness,
Hmm?
oneness,
Youth. How many don't want to be their chosen age?
Don't put your hand up.
So
Oh,
that
never mind.
Oh, this age.
Yeah.
Right.
in youth is required is a benefit beyond oneness, beyond mastery, beyond the mastery of change / quantum. It's youth. So that's what we want. We want mastery and we want youth. Anybody disagree with that?
Does
I like
youthing
it.
include no more disease?
Of course.
Okay.
No more aging, which if you go beyond no more aging, that's youth. And no more disease, because no more disease is quantum, part of quantum. But being very simple, we're all in this for mastery. But then we're all in it for youth. My point is there's nobody that wants to stay at their current age that I'm aware of. So my focus is mastery followed by youth, including myself. I don't have youth. That's my next step. I do have mastery, but I don't have youth. And all of you are close to mastery, but there's a step beyond that, which is youth. And of youth, you can't have youth if you have aging. So youth, you've taken care of it with one word. You can't have youth if you have disease. Now that gets into other areas, but simple, who wants disease? How come nobody beyond the threshold is worried about quantum? Because that's a disease and it's pre-quantum. So that's the basic point. Hi, Carolyn.
Hello. Sorry for tardiness.
Yeah. So now, last week, Cynthia Rose had most of my message by talking quantum to quantum, her quantum to my quantum. That's pretty amazing. Why shouldn't we all do that? Well, we should. But then do we need video? No. So we gotta figure out the balance. And all I know is that that change needs to begin 3 weeks from now. So I know. The disease of cancers, which I tried to get it narrower to lungs, breathing, but I couldn't. And the world population, not one of you has responded to that. Not one.
I tried, but I was struggling with the words. So I wasn't able to get something out there about that.
Well, thank you for trying.
I did try as well, Peter. And when I looked at where you compiled the information from, you compiled it from Google, and you've always told us that Google is sort of notorious for providing false information.
Yeah, they are. So that was, but they are the best. So use Bing, use some of the other, no, we use Google.
Can I please ask, because I didn't see that message, Peter.
Yes,
Can
you
you?
did.
I did?
Maybe you didn't read it. But
Okay.
it came out in our iMessage, and we're all members of iMessage.
Okay.
And you guys have responsibility to read that, not me.
I read that too, Peter. It's Alfred.
Yes.
I didn't realize that there was a great importance to it. I just understood what was there, and maybe I just passed it over.
The point being, bottom is key word. And there are reasons, multiple reasons. But the point is, I got no response. None.
And Peter, this is Diana. Noreen and I were on the phone actually when we got that and talked about it. And Noreen was looking up numbers because the same as what was said before, that you have shared that Google is not a reliable source. So we kind of looked it up to say, well, what could we compare this to? But I appreciate what you're saying. You shared something very important to us and we did not even comment on it. So I do get that is an error for not acknowledging what you're sharing because there's importance to it. So I appreciate that.
And the other thing.
Thank you, Diana.
The other thing.
A massive error, and I will definitely share, irrespective of the previously, well, the errors in myself.
I mean, because basically it deals directly with the human reset and the fact that we're doing we're not doing a reset. I mean, that's huge. So rather than thinking below as we did for Lemuria, and we now have proof, or sinking below as we did for Atlantis, and we now have proof, we're doing a hot cut. That's major. And it's like with many of you, it's a minor point. It's our fundamental point. We're not doing or start over. We're not starting with two types of cavemen and then building societies and having rulers and hierarchies and all that. We're doing none of that. And yet we're taking it for granted. And skills stopped you. culture stopped you, missing the point stopped you. But the point is, it stopped everybody without exception. So are you going to the bottom? No, it's that simple. So anybody that thinks that they're going to the bottom isn't. You're missing it.
Yep. I missed it.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
I think many may join me in kind of thinking that on today's call, those numbers would be perhaps better explained. I saw the numbers, I added up, you know, all the various numbers for various reasons, but I couldn't quite make any sense out of it. So I would appreciate your elucidating us on exactly the meaning behind the numbers. Thank you.
We're not doing a cold reset. It's simple. In one word, reset.
We love you, Peter.
It's very simple.
We love you, Peter. We don't have the same viewpoint, the same position in our understanding yet, but we know we're falling in line with you. And my heart is just aching because I love you.
Thank you. And my point is, there's no other deeper point. We are not doing a reset. It makes us all start over. But we're taking it for granted. It's the biggest point. And I can be silent, or we can have this discussion. What would you rather have? You'd rather have the discussion.
Absolutely.
Yes. Excuse me 1 minute, Peter. Erminia is trying to get in, Noreen, and she's asking if you could let her in. You see her trying to get in? She's texted me.
You're muted, Noreen.
Noreen, did you hear my question?
I did. She's
Okay.
not in the waiting room. So
Yeah, she's asking if you could let her in.
she's not there, Diana.
Oh, this is what she texted me, that she's waiting to get in. Can you, okay. Does she have she's asking me now to have the link. She's waiting to get the link.
The link was in yesterday's email. She got it.
Okay, I'll tell her again. Thank you.
Peter, going back to the discussion, this is not an excuse, but I feel like a lot of us are moving in our lives very fast. Events are happening very, very fast around us.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
So when I read your email, that specific email, I felt my whole body persona put the brakes on reading those numbers. And that's why I failed to come up with words to express myself. So my lesson from this is to slow down in our communications and pay attention to each word, each number in the emails and the exchange of emails for us.
And I'm not trying to, it'll be different for every single one of you. And all I'm doing is saying it's a big deal not to do a reset, a non-destructive reset. And that's exactly what we're doing. We are doing a non-destructive reset.
That's awesome.
It is awesome. And I'm also saying that we start our new decade on the 21st of this month. Not the new year, but the new decade. This big point. It's a big point for each one of you. It's a big point for me. We're together with by balance. And then what does balance beget? Love. Does balance beget anything else?
Positivity.
Exactly. Man, that's right there. That's huge. Man, no, new, balance, grow. Where does the grow go? Well, we're just quantum. The grow goes back into no. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. What have we added? Magnificences, 4, and quantum strength, 5. So to the 3, we've added 2 more, and it's 5. But if you don't understand the big points, you can't understand the little points. It's impossible. So.
Thank you, Peter.
Well, you're welcome.
Thank you, Peter.
You know.
Yay, team. Thank you, Peter.
I'm just trying to figure out what the new part of us can do more for this wonderful sharing, because I have to admit that I am struggling. This is struggling times, wonderful times. I have skills that I can tell you, Peter, is not, of course, not yet to the bottom, but they are amazing. But it's trying times, very, very much so. So just have to keep on swimming.
Quickly, we are.
I'm in warp speed. My life is warp speed.
Yeah. But see, I'm talking with your magnificence. All of you don't all the time. And if in times when you aren't using quantum entanglement to talk to your quantum magnificence, you're missing. Huge, huge. You're infinitesimally jumping back into the dryer.
Oh.
Because you either are in the dryer or you are your magnificence. It's that simple.
Unmute yourself, Nuno.
Pardon me?
Nuno is muted. He's talking. There you go.
Can I just share a personal experience today? So, yeah.
Please.
Sorry. So it was a very difficult night for me. No sleep at all, and in some difficult conditions. But in the when I went to bed in the night yesterday evening, I started feeling a pain in my chest, kind of scary. And as the evening went by, as the evening went by and things got very tough, the pain still was still there, and I had to deal with so many things. I had to deal with so many things last night, but the pain was there. It was something very personal for me. And I said, look, I don't have time for this. I have to keep going. I have a lot to do. I don't need this. And most of the night, even in the morning, I got up. I was only without pain when I was in bed. But I got up and it was very strong, right in the chest, right in the heart area. So I was scared for the first time in my life. And then in the morning, I got out, the evening went by. I just went for a stroll in the morning, and I had a little time to focus myself in quantum, in all of you guys. And I just went for the bottom, balance, and I understood that it was stress. So I remembered the 22 now signs, and I saw the stress sign, and I said, okay, I have to deal with this. And it was immediate. The pain went away. I had it all night long, and I was struggling with it and very scary. So, and then when I got a chance to breathe a little bit, my head was a little bit above the water. I reached for quantum strength and all of you guys and you, Peter. And I just saw the bottom of balance, and I put the stress in there, and everything was balanced, and it was like a miracle. It was, so I'm grateful for that, but as I'm telling you, it's trying times.
Now,
thank you.
If you hadn't had that, thank you, Nuno. If you hadn't had that experience, would you be as strong as you are right this moment?
No,
Exactly.
Definitely no. Every second.
My point is, sometimes your magnificence tests you. And many of the tests are not pleasant. And it boils down to, can you hold on or can't you? If you can't, you're going to get tested again. If you can't,
Go ahead.
you're going to get tested again and again and again. Your magnificence will never compromise on that. This is part of what it takes to become your magnificence.
I accept that. I'm grateful for that, really.
And you did it successfully, but it was tough. It was difficult. And then finally you remembered.
Yeah, that is the word. Because until then I said, but why haven't I remembered this earlier? So I just didn't have the strength. That was the answer. So
correct.
A little bit of space, and then that made me go so much deeper.
No. You have the strength, but you didn't reach for it. We all have the strength, but unless we reach for it, we don't have it. That's the point. And now you reached for it and you saw how fast it can work. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense, Peter. Thank you. And everything made so much sense after that. Even the 22 nows signs where I said, wow, that's what stress is there about. because yeah, we're dealing with a lot of stress also.
Exactly.
I have a very stressful job myself as a laboratory director for a hospital lab in a corporate setting, you know, one of those healthcare chains. And it's a job that produces a lot of stress. And this has been a lab in trouble. That's what I do. I go into labs that are in trouble and help straighten them out. So that has really called upon me to really lean in on my own quantum strength and my own quantum magnificence to really help me not let the stress affect me or how my quantum magnificence is able to be revealed. An example of that has been my ability to find, procure, have staffing just automatically like show up out of nowhere. And I've been so grateful and so thankful to my quantum magnificence, and as well as its interaction, its quantum entanglement with the quantum magnificence of others. I make it a point every morning when I wake up at 3 a.m. to really kind of envision and imagine and deduce my own quantum magnificence, speaking with the quantum magnificence of everyone else in the laboratory, everyone else in the hospital, to go ahead and help me use my quantum strength to avoid that very stress that Nuno was speaking about, because I don't want to be stressed. When I'm stressed, I cannot use my quantum strength. I cannot use the balance. I cannot exude that quantum love. So those are really important points for me to consider in those wee early morning hours when I wake up and I should have been asleep. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia.
To follow in what Cynthia Rose is saying, there's a new member as of March at the Broadmoor, and he was in charge of the architecture for Tandem Computers. And just recently, I saw him again. I talked to him quite a bit when he first joined. And the words he remembered were quantum entanglement. That's the first thing out of his mouth, quantum entanglement. Now, he has the background like Cynthia Rose, but all he remembers are those two words. And all he applies are nothing. So it's just, you just never know. He has chosen not to go further. Cynthia Rose has chosen to go further. Nuno has chosen to go further. So the point is that it isn't magic. It's, do you do it? Do you know about it? Doesn't do enough good. But do you use it? Enormous good. So what are we going to do after the shortest day of the year? Tomorrow is the shortest morning of the year. But the nighttime gets shorter until the 21st. So from the 17th, or from the 7th to the 21st, daytime starts the same time, but the days get shorter which only leaves nights to the 21st. And then the nights start to get longer. So that's not a big point, but it's part of the point. And you can know most, you can know enough, or you can never stop learning. Your choice. So now, having said all that, you're back to the threshold. And the threshold is it how much time, which does exist, timing exists, but not time. How much time is associated with threshold? Well, it can be none all the way to a couple years. Who's it up to? You. Alex, I love her emails. Practice, balance, practice, balance, practice. And the other day starts her 3 hours and then she continues. That's what happens. And pretty soon that's all you do. Alex, please unmute.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. It's machine language.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Alexandra, unmute, hon. We can't hear you.
I did, and
There.
it says,
There.
there we go. Yes, that is what I do, Peter. Thank you. I started the 3 hours when you suggested it. It was easy. Sometimes I couldn't even do the 3 hours, but I go about my day and the alarm goes off and I have to laugh at it because sometimes I can't even get to my phone, like if I'm in the shower, but I keep going. And sometimes I forget, but then my magnificence is just like constantly reminding me. Like when I do the shower in the morning and when I am using quantum entanglement, I can feel how powerful it is because you're all like right there, like, wow, I've never had such. I practiced being invisible all my life because I stayed alive that way. So to practice quantum entanglement is the complete opposite for me. So while I am using the surrogate one, I have already named all the people and I can see them coming all forward. And there might be 30 or 40 of them that I know, and I just keep adding them. And with quantum entanglement, I can see each one, their problems. And I got to verify yesterday. I saw one of my sisters who is working like 6 days a week, and she looked good. She goes, I feel good. I like my new job. I was so excited because I felt like I was a part of that. And that to me verified quantum entanglement. That was, what do you call it? A verification of scenarios.
right.
I practice what I can do, which nobody might ever know in a million years or believe me, but I saw the proof of it yesterday.
You've also had a couple of long discussions with Bud.
I did. Yay.
We all love Bud.
Yes. I understand how he helped me with the astrology. He understood how to help me because I didn't think I was powerful. And I grew my self-love by what he taught. He goes, I'm not making this up. This is what your chart says.
Right.
Yeah.
The one of the things that I've learned is that astrology and astronomy it's two. It's magical. They must be looked at together to understand everything. We did that when we ascended as minds. They were converged.
What's nice too is when you see where you are or where you came from, that doesn't stop where you can go because quantum is endless. So
Correct.
nobody can tell me, or people have told me, Alex, you can't do that. That's the worst thing you can say to me because boy, I'm going to do it. I'm going to prove you wrong. I got the fight in me. So thank you, Peter. I've learned so much from you in a big way. I really
You've got the
appreciate all of
strength in you,
I do.
Alex.
I do.
I would replace fight. You have the strength
Okay.
in you.
The strength. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Diana.
See, what happens is after you do it so many times, reaching for the strength is automatic. You automatically reach for the strength. And so reaching is no longer necessary.
You are the strength.
Because you have merged with the common strength.
Yeah, and I've had people say, can you, like, I walk behind you, I can see you everywhere, and I understand that because it emanates the strength.
So as you reach for the strength and reach for the strength, as Cynthia says, you are the strength. You're still reaching for it, but the step that has become automatic is it's no longer necessary to reach. It's just there. So the point is, everything is earned. It's added. Julie, what, from the point of view of Lemuria, 50,000 years to now, is there anything you would add?
Julie, where are you?
I'm right here.
Yay.
So you're asking me what from the point of view
From your point of view.
From my point of view,
Yeah.
what I would add?
Is there anything you would like to add?
I'm not sure of the question.
Your point of view is continuous for the last 50,000 years. Is there anything that you would like to add from that experience base?
I guess I would add the importance of love, positivity, and balance. They seem to be the really important parts in everything we do.
Where does technology fit in your lexicon?
It's an afterthought because it wasn't there in Lemuria.
Right. And, but that's why I want to hear what, from Julie's point of view, what is said about technology.
Very important. Very important, and to have the balance. We have the answers. We have the technology. But I still go back to the love and the positivity and the balance and the importance of it to use the technology.
Thank you, Julie. Does anybody have a question about what Julie says? What Julie is sharing?
I might.
Yes,
Sorry.
I have one too.
Go ahead.
Please, Nuno. We'll just take turns.
It's just very simple. When we say technology relating to Lemuria and then Atlantis, now in quantum we have sentient technology. We're using sentient technologies, and then we have technology like the one we use on a daily basis, on our daily lives. So are these two related?
Well, go ahead.
I feel the balance is that we are both, that we are the sentient technology.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that is the technology we are talking about when we are talking about Lemuria, not having enough, and then in Atlantis having too much related to the non-love enough part. Is that the sentient technology we are talking about, or also digital technical technology?
Is that to me, Nuno?
Yes, thank you, Julie. For everybody.
From my
It's
point
just a
of
question
view,
I have.
mostly digital technology. No, there was no sentient in there.
So, okay.
And Peter, one thing I noticed, especially when Cynthia was sharing, she keeps calling her my quantum strength. So, and it's the common quantum strength, not my personal or her personal or anybody's personal quantum strength.
Nobody has their own quantum strength.
Yes.
That's simply false.
Yes.
Can you reach for our common quantum strength? Yes. And after you've practiced reaching and reaching and reaching, the automatic takes over. But it's still not your quantum strength. It's your reaching that has been activated. But it doesn't make it your quantum strength. That's false. And if you don't understand all these innuendos, you're going to get tricked. The key is to understand everything as it is. So 0 errors, right?
0 errors.
0
Right.
errors.
Correct.
Thank you, Noreen. That was quite an astute observation and quite a correct response. Thank you.
Yes.
And Peter, going back to your question about the numbers, last night I was still researching the numbers. If you look at the 1.5 million, the breakdown, 20% of the deaths are in the US. And then I found a study from, I believe it's Johns Hopkins, and I'll go search for it and share. Their conclusion, going over 2 years worth of, or at least 1 year worth of data saying there is no change in the death rate in the US. It's just been classified into coronavirus versus something else. And so that is the reason I debated whether to share that or not, but I think it's important to know that Google's using the old CDC numbers. 3 months ago, the deaths were around 200,000 from CDC and the Google numbers, but the actual deaths on CDC website was 10,000. So it's just the cabal game of changing data to make people afraid.
The
I can
misuse of technology.
Huh?
I
The
work in a
misuse of
hospital.
technology.
I
Yes.
work in a hospital, and I'm here to tell you those deaths are not occurring.
Yeah.
They are heart attacks or diabetes or heart issues or cancer or a car wreck. They're not COVID.
Yes, and they keep calling everything COVID, even if you didn't have it. If you died of a car accident, quite possible your death certificate might even say COVID on it now. And the other interesting thing to think about, this whole thing started in China, but they're claiming they only have 4,000 deaths and nobody infected with this without a vaccine. And so here we are, 20% of the world's death are in US, and they're really pushing for a vaccine. So this is all the game up front. And I don't know what more to say except,
The Hopkins is a much better source. My dad went to Hopkins. I was at Hopkins many times as when I was a boy. They're a great institution, and they have renewed themselves to the point where they're a great worldwide source. My point was that we are doing a hot cut. That's huge. I mean, it's just huge. Our last start over was Atlantis. There's Judy. And before that, we restarted in Lemuria. There's Julie. And we're sharing with each other. I mean, it's tremendous. Cynthia Rose, who is a professional in this area of fixing up the labs, she used quantum entanglement and picked up most of the my message from last week. You're all working with your magnificence, but you aren't your magnificence yet. You're working on mastery, and you're going to become masters of change / quantum. Your next step is become young.
Yay.
Free, disease free. That's what you're working on. Maybe you're not acknowledging it, but that's what you really are working on.
It'll
looking,
be fun again to look in the mirror.
you're looking a lot.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So
Once again, what is prayer? It's asking a bank of quantum computers that are digital. What is meditation? It's listening to what those computers say. Computers, right?
Right.
How
Correct.
about listening to your magnificent state?
Yeah. Peter, I want to remind Diana Martinez to not be afraid of looking at the mirror now, not wait for future, now. So
Right.
enjoy.
I'm just shocked at what I see.
Yeah.
oh my God, no, Diana.
Beautiful. That's
We
what you
love
see.
looking at you.
It's
Oh,
called,
thanks.
it's called drier time in other ways, you know. So get over it.
Part of-
Yeah, I'm seeing changes. Gray hair is coming in quite a bit. Gray even in my eyebrows. That's not even funny.
Gray is
Just
good.
enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yes.
We are
Love them.
and what we look like. And
Yeah.
part of self-love is loving all parts and
Yeah.
accepting all parts. And how cool we are returning to quantum, which means we have the ability to youth and really appreciate it because we're coming from not being useful.
I love it.
Right.
So, you know, I mean, we're going to really appreciate that, but it's also important because we don't know when that's happening to be in a place to really love and appreciate who we are, what we look like, what we've been through. It, you know, we need to have that compassion for ourselves and that understanding and appreciation. It is so important to self-love, which we know is so, I mean, without it, we wouldn't be here.
Right. I have that really good. It's just, I laugh when I look in the mirror and see new changes. It's like, aha, we got to deal with this now. Okay. Yeah. Just go with it.
Go with a little more self-love. I have a question that I'd like to just ask Cynthia. Cynthia, regarding the whole COVID thing, is there an incentive for people to be diagnosed COVID? I mean, you know, I've heard this from different sources, but you know, you're an expert in this field. So is there an incentive for people
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I work in a corporate hospital. And there are distinct advantages financially for deaths or cases of COVID to be recorded. And then, of course, they're reported on to the federal government. So there's a huge scam taking place right now in the healthcare industry where anything related to COVID, deaths, diagnosis, whatever, are being supported by insurance payments and government financial concerns. So there's a definite scam going on with anything COVID.
And they also have some special incentives from different companies. I would say all the pharmaceuticals.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's the opposite of non-bias, no bias.
I had an experience I would like to share. I was tested positive for COVID last March, or I think it was April. Anyway, the doctor was celebrating when she told me my positive.
Wow.
There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of money every time they say you're positive.
Yes, and it's a very, very flawed test they use anyways.
But I did have 9 of the symptoms, and it only lasted for 4 days. And then after that, Peter was saying, if you cross the threshold, you can't get COVID. And so I had it before Peter said that, but
yeah,
the doctor was like, congratulations, you're the grand prize winner of a positive test. And I was like, oh,
ouch.
Wait, you just said congratulations.
Really? Oh my God.
It's
Well,
the
I'm
big-
here to tell you as the laboratory person,
Yeah.
as a laboratorian, that the COVID test results are not accurate. The
Yeah.
tests, as Nermeen mentioned, are highly flawed. There is no possible way for them to have developed a test of that sensitivity in what, 3 months' time? So whatever they're using to come up with their sensitivities and specificities for this test via CPR, which is the mode of they like to use the most, are non-existent. I can tell you that as a laboratory professional.
Yeah,
Not right.
well, there's a reason why there's so many mysterious deaths and things like that, you know, for people who do the labs.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah, I get it.
yeah, and I've also know personal friends of my kids that came back from the line, and I think Diana has heard the same thing. They didn't take the test and they were told they were positive. So it's just a scam. So I don't know how to respond to a Google number of what happened in the world.
I
India,
didn't know.
India
what
is 4
they
times
did.
bigger, but their death rate is higher than US, and their death rate from COVID is like 15,000 in the whole country. So it's just
Yeah.
a big scam in this country. And
There's
so,
something really wrong about it all.
yes.
The
And-
guys on the TV here in Portugal, last week I posted on Facebook because I recorded from the TV. He was saying they look like they get money when they announce false deaths on TV because they are
Yeah.
very bright when they say this. And he said last week here in Portugal, 600 people died with COVID. That was the word, with COVID, not from COVID, but with COVID. Yeah, you know, that makes it all a scam. Just one word, you know, it's not the same because they could have had a lot of other things. If they died from COVID, it's totally different.
The coronavirus is a head cold. A rhinovirus is where your nose is involved. A coronavirus is your entire head, your corona. Okay, so that is an upper respiratory infection of your head, the sinuses, whatnot, that can easily drop into the lungs and cause various other illnesses, particularly in those who are immunocompromised for any reason, or they're elderly because they have a weakened immune system. So it's a very common virus that's floating around out there that somebody in the Chinese government grabbed. So I tried 19 times to weaponize the virus, but it never worked. It may have been somewhat the coronavirus 19, which is what COVID is caused by, may be linked to being stimulated in a negative way by 5G technology, which is why President Trump outlawed a great deal of 5G technology in the United States, perhaps for this very reason. Unfortunately, the residents of Wuhan, China, were exposed to a great deal of 5G radiation, which may have accounted for the massive number of deaths that they did experience from this virus as a guinea pig test run for the Chinese government. Those are kind of my thoughts on the matter, but the coronavirus itself is a common head cold. Hello.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. And when we kind of tie all this together and going back to your email, Peter, you have taught us all, you have really shared with us how important it is to question things and to look for errors. And I feel sometimes like in the twilight zone because in my own home, in my own life, there isn't the coronavirus. There is no concerns or anything. I can't tell you how many times I go in a store and I go, oh, my mask is in my car, because it's not something that I am even thinking of with at all, whatever. then we have all this election craziness going on. It's like such an interesting time, you know, because we're talking about errors and we need to be able to be error-free for a year to return to quantum. So looking at things that are correct or not correct. And I feel that there are so many issues right now with what is truth and what is not truth. And I'm just saying, from my own experience, it's been very interesting to be returning to quantum in my space in my life. And I'm sure you all have your own feeling this way. And then watching the chaos in the world going tumbling in the dryer continuously 24/7. It's a very interesting dichotomy. And I'm so grateful to be here, to be following Money of One, to have you, Peter, and Quantum Singularity, and all of my quantum brothers and sisters, because my gosh, I can't imagine life any other way than what we're doing.
Yeah.
Thank
Yay.
Cynthia, may I ask Cynthia?
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Diana.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Diana.
Diana.
you. Joy wants to say something.
Yes, I want to ask Cynthia, is there anything to the mask actually helping?
No, the mask is like using a chain link fence to keep out a mosquito. So about as effective. So the mask is in no way responsible for helping contain any cold virus, whether it be a rhinovirus, a coronavirus. It's just they are symbols of control for the population. That's exactly what they are. They're symbols of
Just wanna-
control.
Now,
They want to muzzle you.
is it the opposite? Is that by wearing a mask, you suppress your immune system?
You can make yourself sick. by
Actually,
breathing in your own stuff constantly.
your CO2 levels are escalated when you breathe through a mask. Your
Right.
CO2 levels are escalated. The mask also captures whatever viral, not viral, but in a very minor way, bacterial from your nose, your mouth. They're just not good things.
No.
They're not effective tools.
Well,
Thank you.
my husband works in a hospital, and so he's very convinced that, you know, the mask is necessary, and therefore, but I know it's not, because I know that it doesn't really do anything. But yeah, try and argue that with him. I can't.
Well, I'm batting at 12 times use of mask, maybe total of 1 hour in this whole thing. I found all my workarounds so, and I still go out and eat in the restaurant, but outside. And if they want me to walk through the restaurant with the mask, they're off the list. You know, I'm not gonna go there.
Yay.
And everybody else who's curbside, they are all doing curbside deliveries to my car. They may not, others, but they will bring it to my car.
They are really using the hidden fears of everybody with this.
Yeah.
Right.
And
What I did was I purchased a mask made of tulle. Many of the women will recognize that as a very extremely loose woven material used in bridal gowns, you know.
Yeah,
And so I wear a mask made out of tulle when I have to, and so far it's been accepted, which is stupid.
yeah, they don't care. You know.
I made a mask. Am I being heard? I made a mask out of a bandana, and I made my own little thing. It's completely open. It's completely open. And I grew up with asthma things, so I know what's going on. I know about all the viruses that live in your liver, and just stuff comes up, and I just stay healthy, but mine's completely open, and nobody has noticed it yet.
Yes.
Not at all. Or sometimes I just wear it around my neck. Or if you bring a scarf with you, you know, just, it is amazing. But I don't say anything to anybody anymore because they're very programmed to, oh my God, I'm going to get it from you. You're not going to get anything from me except a big smile and a hug if you let me.
I
And
use the
quantum
face shield.
entanglement.
And
I
quantum
use the
entanglement.
face shield, and it's completely open.
Open,
So I
yeah.
can breathe, and they accept it. So that's the best. I cannot wear a mask. I just suffocate.
Yes, exactly. That's why I do it a bit down.
Carolyn,
On top of it, the medical profession,
you have a question.
who's that?
Carolyn Wayne.
No, she doesn't think.
I do. There's something underneath.
From me?
Hmm.
I think I'm just really listening and attuning and I don't think I have a question, Peter, as of yet.
Have you ever focused on the word attune? Attune is that one.
Right. I call it tuning in and tapping in. Like instead of attune, I go tune in and tap in. And that's for me common speak.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The smile.
Pardon?
That's the first time you've smiled where I've looked at you.
Hmm.
So there's something, there's a tug of war between your conscious and your quantum. And when you smiled, your consciousness kind of gave up. So that's how much power is in a smile.
Yes.
It's enormous.
Mm-hmm.
So many times you want to smile, force it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it actually activates the release of complex dissonance.
Right.
I think sometimes I get really serious to like absorb this. And I'm like, okay, and I'm like trying to look and understand and so on. But then there's other times where it's like inside, it's like, I got that. Yeah, like I feel that. And so I think I need to take a little bit of that extreme serious consciousness.
You're wonderful.
Go out the window and come back to self. So thank you, Peter.
Well, yeah. So
We are an hour, 15 minutes into it.
That was sweet, Peter.
Just to rewind to sentient technology, there was Ed, Julie, and someone else that wanted to add something to that subject.
Yes, I'll add. I wanted to thank
you.
us for thank you, Nuno. I wanted to thank us all for our experimenting, our experience, and our practice to get to the balance. It's so fantastic. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And thank you, Nuno, for sharing. That's what came up to me was the experimenting and the experience and the practicing, and then to play with the balance. Yes, thank you.
well, the balance is number 3 of being quantum. We've done that for a long, long time. In anything new in our life, don't accept it until you balance it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. And that's 4. It's your magnificence. Equal, special, unique, right? Well, your magnificence We all have a magnificent period. I have another daughter. You're seeing Christina. Well, the daughter that is 2 years younger asked me to pray for a fraternity brother of Jennifer's husband, who's named Rich, RSH. And so I prayed for him, and he was intubated in the hospital, dying. And the next day, he was off intubation and on his way out. And Jennifer came back and said, "Praise the Lord." I said, "It wasn't the Lord. It was your magnificence." And what I did was speak directly using quantum entanglement, his magnificence. Had nothing to do with the Lord. But the next day, he was off intubation. I mean, that just shows you what speaking directly to a magnificence can do.
Thank you for sharing that sweet story.
Good job, Peter.
It
Wonderful.
makes
So what did your daughter then have to say about it?
Well, the next day, they decided to come skiing in Colorado for the last years. They chose to go on surfboards in Mexico. Now, subconsciously, because I asked their magnificence, why are they doing that? Why changing from the warmth in Mexico to skiing in Colorado? Well, they are really taken by this event.
Oh, that's so sweet.
It's all, it just shows you how the truth can operate. And the point is,
Set you free.
many times is so powerful that things happen that are not acknowledged, but they change somebody's behavior. So speak your truth.
Yes,
Your truth.
yes.
And will your truth evolve? Of course it will. To not increase your fun, increase your happiness, increase your growth as a person, increase your growth skills, increase your quantum analog.
Mhm.
You're going to do all those things. And it's endless. It will never stop because you will never die. You will never age. You will never catch disease.
Thank you, Peter, for explaining about your email as well, because I now know what happened. I thought about it. That's the whole point. I started thinking about it, and that wasn't what I should have done. That was the error. Oh dear. Thank you.
Jilly is one of the Mayan 10. For those of you who haven't looked recently, all 10 of us are here, not on this call, but all on the website. That's pretty amazing. We're just magically here.
Peter, for
Yes.
December 21st, do you have any suggestions for us on what we might focus on?
Whatever comes to you the most that day, that's your key word for the next 10 years. So don't anticipate anything, just notice what happens.
And Peter, you also shared with us how important it is to work on scenarios of what
Yes.
would like to happen during that 11-day orb period. So exciting to be able to focus on that. And so for me, I go best case scenario and just put that out there. Thank you.
Also on the 21st is a direct conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter. Also on the 21st is another close to 20-year cycle. It's 19.8 years. And it's the north node of the moon. So there's just enormous power.
Wasn't there another planet as well?
Pardon me?
Wasn't there another
I heard
planet
all the
as
planets.
well?
I heard there were like
Jupiter
there were like
and
7 planets all in alignment.
Saturn.
Saturn. That's the other
Right.
one. Thank
Jupiter
you.
and Saturn.
Thank you, Peter.
In astrology, Jupiter is growth. And Saturn is focus. Growth, Jupiter, Saturn, focus. So, Judy, that might help with what do you focus on? Whatever comes to you and keeps coming to you.
Is it important to do it at 11:11 Greenwich Mean Time or any time on that day?
Anytime on that day.
Deal with the moon, Peter, is that like for birth, the birth of new ideas? And
Well, the new moon, the moon is close. I think the moon hits a new full moon on the 29th of December, which is close, but
the effect is felt.
correct. But it's not like the return of the north node of the moon, which is a 20-year cycle. And that, the 20-year cycle, ties to the most 365 or 366. It ties directly to Saturn and Jupiter, and it reties to the return, but it isn't the specific day, it is the 20-year cycle. So, and then you have the astronomy part, which is just the configuration of the stars. And you add them all together, and you have magic.
Absolutely.
Peter, along with that, I had heard that there are like 7 planets all in alignment on that day, and that only happens every 26,000 years. Have you heard that?
I haven't, but that's a big deal.
Very.
Yeah.
And I'm not positive whether it was 26 or 27,000, but it's a pretty big number.
Well, it's the exact number is 25,960.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
2596. Got it.
So
Thank you, everyone, for sharing today. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, it's 1.5 hours in.
any
Everybody.
Yes.
last minute questions? More questions?
I
There
sent
is-
an email regarding mysterious monoliths about an hour before our call. Did you happen to see that, Peter?
No. See, I don't look at this stuff that doesn't really matter. But we're pre-quantum, and I look at it.
Okay, these monoliths are not human made.
Right,
There have been, right. There are going to be more showing up on the earth.
right. And that's all part of pre-quantum.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean don't look at it. It does. And if you have an inner desire to look at it, look at it. And if you don't have an inner desire, don't look at it. It's really simple. Again, each one of our magnificence, equal, special, unique. That's a huge, wide open categorization. Is there a hierarchy in that? Of course not. Is there a better equal? No. Is there a better unique? No. Is there a better special? No.
Just a better you.
Yeah. It's personal growth. So as you learn about anything, fun, happiness, skills growth, personal growth, quantum analog, that's why you're learning. That's why you had the experience, with your magnificence. It was tough, but you're stronger than you were before you had that 2 days ago or one.
Yay.
Yeah.
It works. Your magnificence is not going to let you get ahead of yourself.
I have no doubt whatsoever about that. Yeah, every day, every second, I think I noticed that. So,
Yay, no.
yeah, thank you.
So it has been an hour and a half. We have 2 more Sundays. And any other comments, questions?
It was an amazing call. I got so much out of it because it just reminded us of so many things and so many important things that we leave out in our daily experience. So it really helped me.
Good.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I often
Yeah.
go to everybody to, to get together, party.
Thank you.
Definitely an aha.
Peter, wear your seatbelt. We want you to be around on the 21st now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you should wear that one.
Thank you so
And
much.
Peter will be around, whether you are, depends on you, right?
I understand that. Thank you so much.
You are welcome.
Ask backwards, it's just like the COVID.
And then after the first of the year, we're going to continue with the Sunday calls.
I have no idea.
Very good.
Okay.
Excellent.
One of them is now.
Yeah, we
Wow.
Who was asking that?
believe
Silly.
next Sunday, that's the 13th. And then the next Sunday is 20th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then next Monday is the 21st. Those
Oh, we
things
should
are-
we should have a call the 21st, no?
No,
No?
we should.
November 22nd.
Yeah, we should.
Oh, this December.
Oh, we're in December.
No, the call is on the 20th, and the next one, if we have one, will be 27th. In between,
Right.
it might be a Christmas
Yeah.
call. So,
We have no idea.
yeah, no,
Mhm.
just hang tight
Get
and
the
fly.
Day off, who knows? So we'll see you next
Well,
Sunday.
I hope I see all your sunny faces, your beautiful, sunny, smiling faces.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you,
week.
everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Noreen,
Thank
Peter,
you.
Diane,
you all.
Thank
Cindy,
you.
Judy,
Thank you.
Catherine,
Thank you,
Erica,
everyone.
Alexandra, Yuri,
Thank
Diana.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Wow, look at
Bye.
Thank you, Peter.